Oh my God, Rob, what did I just read?
It's crazy. Chrissy, this man didn't just ignore the red flags. He bought a season pass. He moved her out twice and she kept coming back.
This is not a relationship story. This is a crime scene report. Everybody, welcome back to our channel Fly Me to the Philippines, your weekly deep dive into expat life, cross-cultural relationships, and some of the wildest stories the internet throws at us. And today, oh my God, Rob and I have a topic that is so intense, so confusing, so emotionally exhausting. We're about to talk about the relationship story that comes straight from one of the biggest expat groups on Facebook. What's the name of it?
Philippine expats with 100,000 subscribers.
And yesterday, an American guy posted something that instantly blew up the group. Hundreds of comments, angry emojis, laughing emojis, sympathy emojis. Half the expats are telling him to run, half telling him to grow a spine, and handfuls saying, "Oh my God, bro, why did you tolerate this for so long?" And listen, if you're new here, this is what we do. Rob and I regularly take real situations that expats face, dating, housing, family issues, misunderstandings, sweet moments, painful moments, and we break them down from both sides. Because expat life in the Philippines is magical, but it is also unpredictable. And if you don't understand the cultural psychology behind what's happening, small issues become nuclear-level problems. So today, we're unpacking this man's full story. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What happened, what went wrong, why things escalated, and most importantly, how to avoid ever ending up in a situation like this yourself. And trust us, you absolutely can avoid it. Rob, take a deep breath, because we are about to begin.
Chrissy, I was born ready for a story like this. I've talked to over 500 expats as part of your and my consulting practice. And let me tell you, this guy didn't just ignore the red flags. He walked into the factory where the red flags are being made and volunteered to sew them himself. And one thing I've learned, a man can be brilliant in business, sharp in politics, wise about money, and absolutely clueless when it comes to relationships when he arrives in Southeast Asia. Your heart wants companionship. Your loneliness wants relief. And suddenly, Chrissy, after 10 days with a woman whose entire extended family tree comes as part of the package, let's crack this open.
Here's the story the man posted. I'm going to summarize the details as clearly as possible so that everyone watching can follow what happened. All right. He says he moved to the Philippines in September of 2023. Soon after arriving, a Filipino woman moved in with him. It's so fast. And from the very beginning, they had trouble communicating. Not deep conversations, not big moral disagreements, but arguments over every small, very simple things. Things that shouldn't lead to conflict, but somehow became explosive. He describes a situation where he asks a simple question or mentions not feeling well or has a small observation about the house, and suddenly, she becomes confrontational.
Sounds a little high maintenance.
She became argumentative or irrationally angry. This happened repeatedly over the course of more than a year. And he also mentions that she previously lived in a very crowded multi-generational home, her adult son, her daughter, her daughter's husband, 2 grandchildren, meaning she was used to a loud, chaotic environment where small conflicts were normal and bigger emotional reactions were typical.
It sounds like something you could easily fall into. Yeah.
Now, at the different points, he tried to ask her to move out several times. He says he physically helped her pack her belongings, helped her move back to family's house, only to have her talk her way back into his life every time.
You know, Chrissy, let me just stop. We had some friends, and they were constantly fighting. They had met online, and they moved in together right away when he arrived. And we heard secondhand that she was constantly packing her bags and threatening to leave. It wasn't he was packing her bags, she was packing her own bags. But they fought all the time, even though they had a good LDR.
So back to our story, Rob. Eventually, they moved into a bigger house. He hoped things would improve, but instead, the arguments escalated. She opened the sari-sari store at the front of the home, and she did this without planning or permission. Then at one point, when he again told her she needed to move out, she threatened to hurt herself.
This is getting worse and worse. And he shared all this on a Facebook post this week.
He says he tried to be polite, calm, reasonable, but the arguments kept happening daily. He felt drained, stressed, emotionally worn down. He says just thinking about her made his head hurt.
It's making my head hurt.
And finally, after one last exhausting argument, he told her to move out again. And she refused because her family home was crowded and she had no space for her store items. She even asked him to create automatic forwarding of texts to her children so they could monitor what he tells her.
From bad to worse, Chrissy.
And at this point, he blocked her on Facebook and Messenger. She threatened to go to the barangay and complain about his pregnant cat.
Wow, a pregnant cat in the story.
He ends his post with a question. How can I find peace and sanity again?
Oh, God, take a breath. Go ahead. Take a breath, guys. He had, as of 2 days ago, 300 responses. People willing to kick a man when he's down. It was crazy. And some people were kind of helpful. I have so many thoughts. I need a seatbelt. Let me just get the first 3 out of the way. Helping her move out more than once isn't moving her out, Chrissy. It's round trip service. If you pack her things twice, you are not ending a relationship. You are offering complimentary shuttle service back and forth from the family home. We have a video, Chrissy, how to find a low-maintenance girlfriend right here in the corner. We'll post it.
Yeah, one of the very early videos.
We made the first month, and one of the greatest things you can find here in the Philippines is an Asian woman who's going to be very low maintenance, especially if there's no tampo or crazy jealousy. You're going to be really lucky. This man didn't find one. If you want to know how to find a low-maintenance girlfriend, we do some role-playing there. There's a picture of Chrissy coming out of the shower. It was a lot of fun. We were doing a lot of creative stuff back then. So anyway, if your relationship begins with chaos, it does not mature into peace. Rarely do things get better. If you have a teenage son, eventually it gets better. He becomes a mature man. But I can only think of a few things. Maybe a Jell-O mold firms up. Adolescence finally burns off, but very few things get better when you sit and do nothing. Chaos only graduates into bigger chaos. It doesn't quickly decide to retire. And number 3, threatening to harm yourself, that ends the relationship instantly. I've coached hundreds of men through many situations here. This isn't cultural. This is psychological manipulation. Full stop. Then there's the sari-sari store. I've gone down some barangay roads and the 10 houses in a row are sari-sari stores. Anybody on a main road or near a main road decides to open a sari-sari store. Normally there's a sun-baked, year-old food products stuck in the window. Nobody's making money. They're having to give, whoever gives loans or utang is the one who gets the business. And then they find themselves with no cash and a lot of loans on the books they can't collect. You should never get involved in starting a micro business that is in front of someone's house without a lot of discussion, or if you just have money to lose. That's not entrepreneurship. That's territorial expansion. And lastly, Chrissy, threatening the barangay about a pregnant cat, that's not cultural either. That's desperation paired with drama. And I have a low tolerance for drama. And a lot of men who wrote in, they were not of the opinion that this man had much of a backbone. This man wasn't in a relationship. He was in an emotional hostage situation disguised as companionship. Chrissy, take it away. For the men, they all want to know your take on this. Break down the Filipino psychology here.
I want to walk through this slowly because many foreign men watching may not understand how these issues developed or why this dynamic becomes so stressful. Number 1, the relationship started too fast. Most healthy relationships, Filipino or Western, grow over time. You date, you get to know each other, you learn each other's quirks, you discover how you communicate. But when someone moves in too quickly, especially when financial dependence is involved, the relationship becomes about survival, not love. A woman in that situation may feel fear, pressure, insecurity, and a strong need for control. Number 2, the emotional pattern shows familiar trauma. So her past living situation was chaotic. Many people in one small home. Loud arguments, lots of responsibilities, lots of stress. So when she moves in a quiet home with a foreigner with money, the silence feels like emotional pressure. She may feel like she has lost power. So she argues to regain control. And number 3, argument patterns aren't about the topic. In Filipino culture, emotions run deep. When someone feels threatened or embarrassed or even insecure or powerless, they may react very strongly, even to small things. So when it says, I don't feel well, she may interpret it, you're blaming me. You think I'm not taking care of you. You're criticizing the home. This is not logic. It is emotional survival instinct. And number 4, the threat of hurting herself is not normal. This is never acceptable. Filipino women will say dramatic things. Sometimes we are expressive, but threatening hurting yourself to prevent being asked to move out is not cultural or normal. It is a manipulation tactic.
Extreme, yeah.
Any man hearing that must take it seriously. It is both a psychological emergency and a sign that the relationship is unsafe.
Yeah, unstable and needs to end. Yeah.
And number 5, opening a sari-sari store without permission. I don't think anybody wants
That's
to
like going
see
nuclear.
an action from your partner without asking you first, right?
Yeah, this idea of taking action when upset or you have this idea to be an entrepreneur without discussing it with your partner, totally, really red flag.
You know, this shows that she is used to making decisions independently in a very communal living environment. For her, it might have felt normal, but for him, it was a massive boundary violation. That means they have opposite worldviews. She sees the home as shared territory. He sees it as his private space. Like, can you imagine you put your money to get a house for your peace and for your well-being?
He had a deposit and he was renting. So, but yeah, 2 months security deposit and paying the rent, and you lose. Who wants a bunch of people buying cigarettes and hot dogs at the front door all the time?
Yeah, one of the disadvantages of having a sari-sari store is when you're in your nap time, you can't really take a nap because somebody will ring the bell and wants to buy some ice,
5 pesos.
Yeah, like just worth 5 pesos. So it's really a problem. Number 6, her resistance to moving out. This is the key part. She did not want to leave because she has no income stability. Her family home is crowded. She built a business in his house and she feels entitled to stay. She believes he is responsible for her and she fears shame from people seeing her move out again. Now take note, they are not married.
And he didn't buy the house.
So to think about it, she didn't really have a hold of him.
No.
Like other people is right. Like, why don't you just move out and leave her? Why don't you just disappear?
That was the most common comment. Of the 300 comments, there must be 25 guys who said, dude, walk away from that security deposit, send her to a birthday party at her family home, pack up, take a jeepney to the airport, fly to another island, walk away from the trouble, grow a pair. He was hammered in the comments.
Yeah, and later on, we will get into a lot of comments that we're going to share with them. Now, here in the Philippines, shame is a huge factor. Like, for example, if they know that the Filipino is dating a foreigner man and then suddenly she's back to living in a very poor home, then for the Filipino, it's a big shame. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why she's not going out. Number 7, the attempt to control his communication. The forwarding text request shows she was trying to protect her narrative. She did not want her children to see her being asked to live again. She wanted control over information. I think that's too much.
It's way too much. I think overall, this woman, we don't know her and we haven't heard her side. There's 2 sides to every story. But from his description, at this point, we're just piling on things that are just multiple red flags. What do you guys think at home? Would you tolerate a relationship that escalated to this point? Would you try and repair it? Would you go to a marriage counselor, a relationship counselor? Would you get family involved? Would you get the church involved? Would you try and get friends and family to help you de-escalate? Do you think the investment in this relationship is worth salvaging? Go ahead and give us a comment below. I think it'll stimulate some interesting conversation.
Okay, number 8 is the barangay threat. Filipinos who feel powerless will sometimes use the barangay system as tool to reclaim control. The barangay is very sympathetic to women, especially in domestic conflict. This does not mean she is evil. It means she is emotionally overwhelmed, financially dependent, and has no healthy coping tools.
Yes.
But the result is still dangerous for the foreigner.
Chrissy, let me just translate that into my own language as a foreigner who's lived here for almost 3 years and having talked to hundreds and hundreds of men in different scenarios. This man wasn't dating a woman. He was dating an unresolved trauma, okay? Her scenarios, her insecurities, her financial desperation, her extended family's expectations, all wrapped in one human package. This wasn't love. This was a high-intensity, low-compatibility collision. When men don't verify that there's more than chemistry, when men don't put themselves first, your number one job is to make sure you are number one, that you don't come to Asia looking for a beautiful head of hair, a pretty face, and a height-weight proportional body. You come to the Philippines looking for chemistry and a best friend. And here's the truth I learned after 500 consultations. Robism number 1. If the relationship starts as a rescue mission, it ends as a hostage situation. Robism number 2. If you have to break up with someone more than once, you are not breaking up. You are negotiating your own imprisonment. Robism number 3. Drama doesn't get smaller in the Philippines. It adapts to your environment. It evolves. It becomes stronger in captivity. The man stayed because he was lonely, isolated, confused, and emotionally drained. He thought things might magically get better. They never do, Chrissy. They never do. And most men who've been divorced after a long period of time, Chrissy, they have learned this lesson. And now this is so important. I always tell men, hire hard so you can manage easy. You want to do this one more time. You want to get it right. And you need to find a best friend and a lover. Now, Chrissy, when it comes to looking for things, if I could ask everybody to check and see if you're subscribed to our channel. Many people think they're subscribed because it comes to your homepage, but go ahead and take a second and just double check that you're actually subscribed. It really helps out the channel and the algorithm analytics a lot. If you could do that for us, awesome. Chrissy, let's tell them the most important part. What a normal, healthy relationship with a Filipino looks like and what they should be looking for.
I want to take a moment to describe what a healthy Filipino relationship looks like, because there are millions around here in the Philippines, like truly millions, of Filipinas who do not behave like what the woman did in this story. Yeah. Number 1, healthy Filipinas communicate calmly. A loving Filipina does not erupt over small things. She listens, adjusts, and softens her tone. She does not weaponize her emotions. And number 2, she appreciates structure and peace. Healthy Filipinas love peaceful homes. They do not bring chaos. They bring calm. They bring food, warmth, laughter, affection, and emotional support.
I like the affection part.
Oh, I thought you liked the food. Well, I think food is like food for your soul, thoughts,
way to a man's heart. Okay.
And number 3, she does not threaten harm. Hurting yourself, that's too much. A healthy woman will never say, I will hurt myself if you will leave me.
Yes.
Never. That is not normal, not cultural, not acceptable. Yeah. Number 4, she does not open businesses in your house without discussion.
Without permission.
Like, I keep telling you, I really want to go back on online selling, but I didn't do it without telling you first. And I didn't do it because Rob didn't like it. Yeah. Healthy Filipino women respect boundaries. They ask, they collaborate, they plan. Can you believe it if I'm just gonna post a video without telling you that I'm gonna post this?
No.
And number 5, she does not refuse to leave when asked.
Yeah.
A respectful partner knows when a relationship has to reach its end. She may cry, she may be sad, but she will honor your decision. Number 6, she does not use the barangay as a weapon. Barangay help is for real violence or real danger. Healthy women do not use it as a way to win an argument. Number 7, she wants mutual growth. Filipinas in healthy relationships want both partners to grow, love, travel, and experience life together. There is no fear of being replaced, no desperation, no manipulation.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of couple that instead of like helping each other to grow, they're like competing each other.
Yeah.
They're like telling the partner that I'm better than you, or she's better than him.
Yeah.
So that's not a good normal
It sounds like life in the
relationship.
West. Entitled women.
Number 8, she brings happiness to your life. I don't think the guy has happiness ever since he arrived in the Philippines.
I don't think.
Because the relationship went so quickly, and then the drama came in so quickly, and then the chaos.
He got more than he bargained for.
Healthy Filipino love feels like warm hands on your back, not on the hands. Shared laughter, one team, kindness, mutual respect, and
Peace.
most especially
Gotta have peace.
If your relationship feels like a storm every day, you are in the wrong relationship.
Absolutely. So let's go back, Chrissy, and talk about these Facebook comments that 300 plus men wrote in.
So Rob, number 1 comment, the guy said, "Are you nuts? There are 20 million good Filipinos out there."
Well, he's not wrong. The supply is not the problem. The selection process is. Remember, hire hard leads to manage easy.
All right, the next comment, the guy said, "Grow a spine and kick her out."
So gentle, so subtle, so Hallmark card energy.
And another says, "That's why you should rent, not buy. Move away and don't leave a forwarding address."
Well, fortunately, he was renting. The official witness protection program for expats.
Next is, someone else wrote, "Pack your bag, get a new SIM card, and start fresh." I would say the same.
Yeah, I think a new SIM card might be necessary. That comment came from a Filipino auntie, and she is absolutely giving the correct advice.
She is a drama queen. She won't leave because she needs you financially. That's very true.
This comment gets 5 stars for accuracy and a bonus star for brevity.
This other guy said, "Move 2 islands away."
Yeah, at least. Why are expats always recommending extreme solutions? Why islands? Why not start with the next barangay?
Because it could be easy to find.
Well, I mean, if you really love the city you're living in, the next barangay would be enough. She doesn't have a legal claim over him. They're just dating. He was renting. I think he needs to just forfeit his deposit. Or, he should just tell the landlord he's moving out in 15 days and get on with it. I mean, it could be somewhat dangerous. You never know about family members. You never know whether she could hurt herself. But maybe 2 islands away is a little much. I mean, some people would say leave the Philippines. What do you guys think? 2 barangays, 2 islands, or 2 countries?
Now let's talk about what this man should have done step by step so that viewers can avoid the situation completely.
Yeah.
Let's go with the number 1. Never let someone move in too fast. If you barely know each other, you are not ready for a live-in arrangement. And number 2, communicate boundaries early. A simple talk about expectations can prevent a year of chaos.
Chrissy, the first thing I said to you was to rate your tampo.
Tampo, yeah.
And that was a way of me defining my boundaries, the first conversation we ever had. And, when it comes to jealousy and tampo, silent treatment, manipulation, brat behavior, or it comes to money, it's very important that you establish your boundaries early and you stay firm. Once people realize you don't mean what you say, well, you've lost all control.
Yeah, as far as I remember, even before we met in person, you already put boundaries when it comes to financial and emotional and, rules in the relationship.
Yeah.
And that will really help for your relationship, because if the Filipina don't like it, then at least at the very beginning, before meeting, she disappeared.
Well, and everybody should have a list, 5 items of a deal breaker list, a nice to have list, and a need to have list. And if your deal breaker list is no cigarette smoking, no excessive alcohol, no threatening to hurt yourself, no family members,
no sorry,
stick to your list.
Number 3, do not ignore signs of emotional instability. Constant arguments, extreme reactions, and manipulation are all reasons to pause the relationship.
Take a beat.
Well, some people will just, some foreigners will just let it pass. They think it's normal. Number 4, get support from friends or professionals. Isolation makes everything worse. So it really needs for you to have a local friend.
I always tell our clients, the sad truth is when you're 64 years old and you're on Match.com in America, or Filipino Cupid or Christian Filipina in the Philippines, absolutely nobody wants to have a conversation with you about how your girlfriend's a little high maintenance. Nobody wants to sit there over a beer and talk about it. You may get a friend to listen to you, but his head hurts while you're doing it. At least Chrissy and I, it's our business, so we will talk to you about it.
So you better fly me to the Philippines.
Let's just get to the hard truth. I'm going to be brutally honest here. Many men come here trying to solve loneliness. And sometimes the first woman who pays attention to them becomes your entire emotional world. But loneliness is not a qualification for compatibility.
A good Filipina is not hard to find, but you must choose the right one for the right reasons. Kindness, communication, shared values, emotional stability.
Well, Chrissy, in the West, the situation's reversed. Men find it very, very hard to attract younger women. And sometimes a woman can be the one who does the selecting. A woman decides, hey, I like that man, I'm going to befriend him. And boom, he will go with it. And I always tell my clients, here in the Philippines, you're the man, you're the lottery ticket, you're the Powerball. You need to be doing the selecting. And then your first job is to understand the deck of the selection, what the different qualities, the beauty, the chemistry, the type of employment they might have. Get to know them, get to know Filipino women. Don't just latch onto the first pretty face that decides you're it because you have money.
And they should also know how to detect red flags.
Yes. You can't outrun red flags. They're faster than you.
And if your relationship brings more stress than comfort, more arguments than joy, and more confusion than clarity, it is not love. It is attachment mixed with fear. Fear to lose companion. Fear to be alone. That's why they will just deal with the wrong Filipino.
Fear of the embarrassment that a woman might face. And if you have to pack someone's belongings 2 times, gentlemen, that is 2 times too many.
For the man who posted the story, and for anyone who feels trapped, there is hope. You can rebuild, you can recover, you can start over in a healthy way. And you know what, Rob? I really believe that the man who posted this is not alone. There are still a lot of men that are in the same situation.
Well, Chrissy, we talk to men all the time. They are in a committed LDR, or they're living here in the Philippines and they're in a committed relationship, but they worry. They worry that the younger woman who starts to show some behaviors, who spends too much time on social media, could be unreliable, or maybe they didn't do their due diligence up front and they're wanting to do it at the back end. There's other men who they recognize what a bad relation, maybe we've had employees work for us before and we've had to fire them. We all know what a bad employee looks like and we have to get rid of them. And many or most of the men have been through one relationship, unfortunately, already. And this is how I believe. I don't think you hire a mediocre employee and turn them into a great employee. I don't think you move in with a high maintenance Filipina and move her to low maintenance. You get what you get. If you rush through the selection process, you get what you get. You have to put the time and effort into and wait for it, wait until a woman like Chrissy presents herself, but then she won't be picking you. You will have to recruit her. You're going to have to put your best foot forward to catch a woman like Chrissy. But once you do, you will have a low maintenance best friend with amazing chemistry. And that's why we're all here to figure out how to get that done.
You deserve a partner who brings softness, warmth, laughter, and peace to your days, not chaos.
And if you're starting fresh or trying to understand the culture on a deeper level, our book, Fly Me to the Philippines, has been #1 on the Philippines Travel bestseller list on Amazon. We will walk you through the real challenges, teach you about Filipino culture, give you language lessons, give you warnings about typhoons and earthquakes. We'll tell you where expats find happiness and the types of opportunities that are awaiting you here. And remember, healthy relationships are peaceful. Toxic ones are loud. If your love life sounds like a noisy jeepney terminal, it's time to get off at the next stop.
So if you're planning to come here and date here in the Philippines, always remember, fly smart, fly with confidence, only here from Fly Me to the Philippines.